Three, two, one. Cool. Was good. Another uncut entry. And this week, what have I been doing this following week? Honestly, just been continuing marketing the forged denim jacket that I'm wearing on TikTok, on my personal brand, on my IG stories, and doing some planning in the background also. But yeah, I think for this week, I think I want to focus on more of like the internal changes, right? That I've had so far. Especially that I touched upon it quickly last week about like ego death. Like my first job was customer service over 10 years ago, right? I was working at Pret a Manger at Heathrow Airside, and that was like part-time during my sixth form. That's like every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, up until I went to uni. And then obviously I went through architecture school, did 3 years, 1 year in the industry. Everything was like going good. Found out that I didn't want to pursue becoming an architect, so I quit. Spent a year just getting back into my artistic self, creating art, drawing, painting. Did that for a year to the point where I then pivoted into fashion, worked for a streetwear startup, and then I also started my first brand, GALANACCI, and then did that for a couple of years. Decided that I want to go full time building my brand, so I quit the working for a luxury streetwear startup after having insane amount of experiences there. And then knowing that it's going to be hard to just focus on building my brand and then also freelancing to, somewhat fund the brand. Did that for a year. Funds started to run dry. So then I was like, fuck, okay, I gotta start applying and try to go back to 9 to 5. Did that for a year, trying to apply to jobs, corporate jobs, from business development all the way to garment technician within fashion. Had a handful of interviews, nothing clicked. And then just recently, and then I decided to, pick up a part-time job in the meantime. And that was like back in end of April of this year. And then that's like a full circle moment where, okay, boom, I'm back to square one, part-time customer service job, bar job. To be fair, it's my first bar job ever. So I had to kind of get used to that as well. Waiting, serving, bartending. So that was like all new to me. And then literally just a week or two ago, I decided, fuck trying to find a 9 to 5. Like I literally gave it my all. The amount of times I changed my CV, got my good friend to also look over it and help me, curate a better CV. But at the end of it all, it was like wasting too much of my energy, and weighing down on me, like mentally, like, oh, I need to find a 9 to 5. I need to find a 9 to 5, blah, blah, blah. When I have this part-time job right in front of me, it ain't making crazy amount of money, but it's there, it's flexible. I can pick shifts, I can drop shifts, I can have an unpaid leave, I can have paid leave. It's just super flexible for my current, situation right now. And yeah, back then, not even yeah, when I first started the bar job, I thought it would just be like a month thing, and then I'll be back working for like a corporate 9 to 5 role. But that's not how it turned out, and I just accepted it. Like I mentioned in the last uncut episode entry, and it's like I'm no longer tying myself to a role, a title, like a job title. I know where I'm heading. So going back to customer service, having a bar job, for me, it's just a means to an end. A way to fund the brand whilst I grind in the trenches. And yeah, now I've fully sort of accepted, and it's a big relief as well, because now I don't have to compartmentalize. I don't know if that's even the right word for it. This space within my mind about searching for a 9 to 5, like that weighs on you mentally. So now I have more room to work on my brand, think about my brand, develop my brand, pioneers of greatness. And yeah, no, I'm happy that I've sort of come to terms with that sort of part of my journey. Because obviously when your friends are being promoted and they're in senior roles, this and that, obviously you'll have that thought in the back of your head, okay, yeah, I should be a little far ahead now. But that's the wrong way to look at it. I have a different journey. I could be in a more senior position within a corporate space if I stayed in architecture, but that's not the case. So it's just, I think this year the most important part is just accepting it. Like fully accepting that, okay, the corporate shit, that's no longer a thing for me. Like to be fair, I haven't been in a corporate role since I left architecture. That was 2019 or 2020. Yeah, 2020. And I gave it a shot going back in the last year. Nothing clicked. So yeah, I've just fully accepted that, okay, that chapter is closed. I'm just gonna grind it out the trenches, and I can't be having this one foot in on trying to go back to 9 to 5, and then one foot grinding and building a pioneers of greatness. I need to be all in, 10 toes. And by having that part-time job and accepting that, okay, this is the best scenario for me at this very moment for my exact situation. And I'm lucky enough that I have my girlfriend that is in a corporate role, in a more senior corporate role, and she's the one holding it down, whilst I figured things out with this entrepreneurship with pioneers of greatness. And that's a good balance. You need someone that can hold things down, and then someone that's going to take that risk, because then that balances things out. And if I didn't have my girlfriend, then yeah, it'll be definitely more tough to navigate things around. But yeah, I got lucky, Sometimes you have these unfair advantages and you just have to run with it, whilst you have it. And I'm gonna be with my girlfriend for a very long time. So my future wife, basically. And yeah, man, this year, I think towards the end of this year, this ego death is crazy. Like, I think a lot of entrepreneurs go to this. Well, to be fair, I've been bouncing my ideas, my thoughts with ChatGPT, and then it's been saying that entrepreneurs do go through this phase, where they fully have this ego death. Their old self is done, is dead, and then this new person is resurfaces, and that person is the one that that can take it forward. But yeah, this whole journey, building your own brand, taking on the entrepreneurial path, yes, it's I would say it's like boxing, man. It's a lot of it is mental. A lot of the challenges is mental, and I would say 10% will be just physical. Like, cool if you have a great product, a working product, nice. But then now you have to navigate other things like, oh, how do I market it? This, that. It's all psychological. How do I align it with the market? Blah blah blah. But yeah, nah, man, this shit all mental, man, and that's why I'm documenting this shit, because then now I can see how much my mental process has changed throughout the year. So I've been doing this for a year now. Like, I've been doing this with my original brand Galanacci, where I would break down my week, talking about what I've done for the brand, things like that, the philosophy of the brand, blah blah blah. So I'm not new to documenting the like talking to a camera and documenting just the journey, talking about the the things that I go through, not just brand wise, more of like the mental aspect, philosophical aspect, and all of that shit. But yeah, no, it feels like there's a shit ton of weight that's been lifted, and now I could move freely. And it's the same thing with boxing. If you're too tense, it's hard to let off your combos. You have to be loose, you have to be relaxed, and then that way you'll be able to see things that's coming forward and anticipate and react to it accordingly. And that's pretty much what's happening now that I've accepted that, yeah, that that old me is gone. There is no going back to that. And yeah, what else is there to be talked about? There's also a thing where you need to, in your mind, you need to have succeeded first before you could even see it in reality, and I've had that. I've seen that success already, in my mind years and years ago. Hey, Oria, this girl, man, it's our not so kitten anymore cat. But yeah, nah, I've seen it in my mind And then now it's just bringing it into reality, slowly but surely. And also, yeah, I'm trying to bring back structure to my daily, routine. Because I was looking, this is why it's important to, just document your journey. Because I was looking at the what I was doing a year ago, like my processes, my systems, and a handful of those I've stopped doing. And when I was doing it back then, I was super productive. So I'm gonna bring back those systems into my, routine, and just go ham with this shit. Like 2026, nah, we ain't playing, man. We ain't playing. I mean, I've already shown it. I've made the first, product for Pioneers of Greatness that I'm like, yeah, that's one of them hero pieces. It's one of them ones where, yeah, when you say POG, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's the forged denim jacket. So yeah, 2026, coming for it, man. Can't wait. Can't wait. Pew pew pew. That's it, man. That's all I can think of right now. So yeah, I'm out. Peace.